one of the best halftime shows in the history of the Super Bowl.
Well, it definitely was, and a lot of it is because of his down to earth, kind of self. He isn't this showboating, person. He's not out there to prove himself better than everybody else. His music does it for him.
Yeah, but he was at the same time he was a very unique, eccentric individual. I mean, there was a period of time where he went off and was going around calling himself the artist formerly known as Prince, and then during a period of time he was just some symbol.
Yes, and like from 1978 to 92, he pretty much put out a record every single year. And that shows not just how talented he was, but how many people actually loved his music and continue to follow it. For an artist to be able to pump out that much music every single year and continue to make the money that he did, and bring in all the fans. I'm looking at stats of all the different things, and 100 million records worldwide sold. Making him the best-selling artist of all time.
Yeah, that numbers like that are absolutely astronomical.
Yeah,
when you really think about it.
It is phenomenal. And to lose him is definitely a big loss. But at the same point, maybe we needed a concert up top.
Yeah, maybe the big band just to say, hey, you know what, I need you up here, man. So, you know what, guys? I think what we'll do is we're going to go for a break a little bit earlier, and we're going to come back, and I think we're going to lighten the mood a little bit.
We'll review Jungle Book, and then I'll talk about Huntsman.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll be back in a minute.
Or so,
give or take. 47 seconds.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Captain Fizzmask Guys show. We'll talk now about Jungle Book that we were unable to review last week due to
we're not really sure. We think it might have been something going on from the sixth moon of thunder.
Somebody invaded our Wi-Fi lines and decided to take over, and unfortunately they managed to survive. And
so for those people who listened to the show last week, or actually were able to understand what we were talking about, we apologize, but we do really feel that we owe it to you, the fans, for us to come back on here and to give this movie a proper review and just kind of have fun about it, even though it's been over a week now since either of us have seen it.
But that's okay. It was a decent enough movie that we generally know what happened and all that, because it doesn't really deviate too far from the storyline of previous movies, at least not too much.
Well, it definitely had more of a story to it than the cartoon did.
The cartoon had more music, which I kind of enjoyed more.
Well, I mean, I will honestly say that the Jungle Book, was one of my favorite Star Wars, man. Why am I thinking Star Wars? I got Star Wars in the brain all the time.
Oh, I got Star Wars in the brain 24/7.
There you go. But it's one of my favorite Disney classics, period. And maybe it's just because, I kind of like, Jungle Animals.
I'm sorry, mine was Aristocats.
That one's okay too. Although that is one I certainly hope they never decide to go off and turn into a live action.
I don't know how they'd be able to. But anyways, we'll talk about, the cast and some of the very important ones. Neil Sethi as Mowgli.
And again, this was his first major acting gig. Before this, I believe you had told me he only had like one independent movie appearance or something.
In his home country, and that it was very, low budget movie that no one's probably heard of. So technically, this is his first appearance ever, and it was, pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Uh, Especially when you look at it, the fact of, the whole time he's behind a green screen. He doesn't see the animals. He doesn't know exactly how to interact with them, and it's really tough for someone who has been around for a while. But it's got to be even tougher for a kid who's never done this before.
Oh, absolutely. Which again is too bad because considering some of the actors that he was working with, or it's too bad that he wouldn't have been able to interact a little bit more, especially when you have like actors like the caliber of Sir Ben Kingsley, who went off and was Bagheera, and Bill Murray, who was Baloo.
Yes, and even like Christopher Walken, played King Louis. I wasn't a big fan of him being King Louis, but he is a pretty awesome actor. So
I honestly I thought he played really well. He played King Louis like he was kind of like a mob boss, and he definitely played it up. And I thought his rendition of "I Want to Be Like You" was spot on, great. Again, I sort of wish that they hadn't felt the need to put that song or the bare necessities into the movie, but I guess they were trying to go up and lighten the mood.
and I feel they kind of dropped the ball on the bare necessities part. Especially like the whole point of bare necessity is this kind of carefree, loose moment.
Well, it
Let
was kind
go.
of a loose
But
moment.
the singing itself seemed forced. It seemed like he wasn't enjoying the singing. He was kind of just belting it out. There was no carefree, letting your voice box relax and just
Who knows? The thing about Bill Murray is that if Bill Murray didn't want to go off and do this, then he wouldn't have appeared in the movie. To us, just get Bill Murray to even think about doing a movie. I mean, he doesn't have an agent, he doesn't have a press secretary, he doesn't have anyone, to contact on his behalf. You have to call a 1-800 number just to leave a message to try to sell him on appearing in your movie. And so, I mean, honestly, I do believe that he went in there and he gave it his all, and maybe he wasn't able to belt it out, like you were hoping, because that's just wasn't in him. But what's to say, that they went off and kind of toned him down and didn't want him to go off and go too crazy.
It is possible. The one appearance that I actually really didn't like, and not so much because I don't like the actress or I don't like the character, was Scarlett Johansson as Ka. And the only reason I actually did not enjoy this as much is because Ka plays a very important role in the Jungle Book, and I feel like they really diminished it.
They went off and I don't know if they necessarily diminished it, but they definitely played it different because in the cartoon we see much more interaction with Ka, who's a male in the cartoon, with both Bagheera as well as Shere Khan. And in this, you don't get off and you don't get to see this, but it's from Khan that we find out Mowgli's origin, how exactly he came to be orphaned and be found by Bagheera to begin with. And one of the things that kind of bugs me a bit about this is I've read the book by from Kipling, and Ka is actually a hero within the book, and was one of the main individuals who actually saves him from the Monkey Clan. It probably had a bigger role in saving him than either Baloo or Bagheera actually did. And it's I ended up being a close friend of Mowgli's, and was brought back later on to appear in other stories. I actually remember being in Cub Scouts as a kid, and before I ever read the Jungle Book, and was shocked that Ka, who I thought was a villain, could actually be the name of one of the scout leaders. So I mean, I would love to see a Jungle Book movie where the heroes are heroes and the villains are villains. And I do think that they did a better job in this way because we do, find out about, some of the wolves' names, which again, if you're in Cub Scouts, you know the names of like Akela and Ragshaw, and a couple of the other characters.
I was never a Cub Scout.
I was in Cub Scouts for 3 years, so I can remember some of this stuff.
That was back when it was cool.
Yeah, it's before they started going off and messing around with it, and you don't hear quite as much about Cub Scouts anymore.
No.
But again, going back to this, but all in all, I thought this was a pretty good movie. Actually, probably one of the things I loved the best was the portrayal of Shere Khan as just, in the cartoon, he, comes across, he as a villain, but he doesn't seem to be just pure evil. And in this movie, he is 100% pure villain. He completely believes in his cause. He completely believes in his reason why Mowgli must die. And if you stand in his way, he's going to kill you.
Well, and he was a diabolical villain. It was the perfect. Who played him, of course, was the perfect choice for it. And I know I no longer have it. I will bring it back up. But it was the perfect voice. It was the perfect everything. Like Idris Elba.
There you go.
He was the perfect voice for it. Really dark, really powerful. I'm gonna rip your throat out and laugh while doing it.
And I won't give away any spoilers in this, but we'll just say that early on in the movie, Kayla himself goes off and says Shere Khan kills out of sport and not out of necessity.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows kind of just how truly evil he really is.
No, and I thought it was very well done, very perfect. Overall ratings of the movie.
I'm gonna go back to what I said last week. It's 4 out of 5 masks for me.
See, I'm torn between 3.5, and just because I'm a sucker for musicals.
So am I, but not necessarily when I want a Disney movie to be transitioned into live action.
I find Disney movies need to stay like Disney movies and all that, which is one thing I actually brought up to you before was Tim Burton is directing a Dumbo movie. Now,
and considering some of the darker aspects of Dumbo, period. Just the stuff that happens in Dumbo early on with his mother, as well as with the clowns, and quite honestly, I have 2 words that are absolutely horrifying to me, and that's pink elephants. So, I think he might be the perfect director.
I'm excited to see Tim Burton directing Dumbo. At the same point, someone needs to muzzle his creative freedom. I really don't want to see skin and bone, skeleton, elephants, things like that. Things that he's normally famous for. I love his type of movies, but not with Dumbo.
This is a Walt Disney movie, so I can't imagine that he's going to get away with too much. He
is a director that is allowed a lot more freedom than most.
Yeah, but he also went off and he did, Alice in Wonderland a couple years ago, which of course they're bringing out a sequel to, Through the Looking Glass,
which he is not directing.
He's a producer for though, and
which is equally good.
Which is equally good, absolutely. It still means he's got his creative fingers in there, but look, he didn't go, super dark on it. Definitely went off and took, from the source material, which has got some dark stuff in it, but at the same time, it wasn't as dark as some of the other stuff that he's done with Johnny Depp.
No, that is true. I'm just waiting to hear if, Johnny Depp in some way is gonna, play a part. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Honestly, I think it'd be interesting if he was the voice of one of the crows, or maybe even the mouse.
I think he should be the voice of the crow, and I'm not a huge Johnny Depp fan, but I do love his voice. It is a very unique voice.
Yeah, he's got a great voice.
And he would be a perfect crow. So, that's our review of Jungle Book. I'm glad you guys can finally hear us talk about it. My voice really sucks right now, so I'm hoping,
This is kind of a switch. Usually it's me that has, no voice.
Yeah, it's me. I apparently yell way too much, and my voice ran away.
So
So now I'm going to talk about the Huntsman Winter's War, which actually just